All right, hey guys. So this is going to be a quick review of the Cloverfield paradox. If you are like me and millions of other people watching the Super Bowl on Sunday, uh, you may have noticed that Netflix dropped the next in the Cloverfield franchise, pseudo franchise, tonight, directly after the Super Bowl, which is, I just have to say, as a from a marketing standpoint, really interesting, and I think probably brilliant. I'd have to see what the numbers are tomorrow and how many people watched it, but I watched it. I've seen a couple of reviews already posted for it, so it got people watching it, got people interested. I was already kind of aware of this because I watch a lot of movie news. Knew that Netflix had acquired the rights to it, but did not have any idea that this was going to be dropping like this. But it's an advantage that Netflix and other streaming services have that I think is interesting and we've not seen before. Um, but anyway, that said, Cloverfield, in 2008, the first Cloverfield movie was released, and I thought that was a really fun, interesting movie for me. Just the mystery around it. What was it going to be? J.J. Abrams was teasing it as being this, you know, this really crazy thing, and turned out to be a big found footage monster movie romp through New York City, and a horror movie. And then 10 Cloverfield Lane came out, I think, a couple years ago. Just amazing performances across the board in that movie. Really claustrophobic thriller. I loved that. Now, the Cloverfield paradox. This film, just like those ones, is connected to this larger universe. But I felt that this movie, unlike the other ones were really kind of tangentially related to one another, made little references, and you could kind of theorize how they were connected to one another. This film really directly goes right for it, to tell you how they're connected, why they're connected, and without giving too much away. Actually, this is going to be a spoiler review, so spoilers ahead for the Cloverfield paradox. You're probably only watching this because you watched the film and want to see what people's opinions are about it. I'll say I liked it all right. I liked the movie if it was standalone, but I felt that the science fiction premise of this film, which it really leans into heavily, just goes too far in explaining away or explaining the Cloverfield universe. The beauty of the other Cloverfield movies was that they didn't have to be connected to one another. They just kind of were in a really loose way. And this one felt like it had this need to explain why there were monsters on Earth and why aliens attack in 10 Cloverfield Lane. And I didn't really do it for me, and it felt a lot like, a standard Lost in Space kind of, I guess, Final Destination-ish, people dying off in progressively more horrific ways, in this film. It felt like one of those movies, and it also just felt like, well, I'll say my main issue with this film was towards the beginning of the film. There is a news story going on, and there's a conspiracy theorist on the news explaining that if they do this, if they use this particle accelerator, the Shepherd, up in space, there's no telling what could happen. It could rip apart the space-time continuum, and we could have merging dimensions and all this other stuff. And I get that that was supposed to be foreshadowing, but that explains the entire premise of this film. There's no mystery to it. It's just a matter of waiting for our characters to catch up with us. And I guess that's kind of a form of irony, that we know what they don't know. But I just felt like it was way too heavy-handed. And ultimately, like I said, explains the Cloverfield universe. anything weird that happened or happens in future Cloverfield movies can be explained away by, well, the shepherd and dimensional craziness. We don't really know, but that's why. It kind of feels lazy and really unnecessary. I didn't find the characters incredibly well developed. I thought the performances were fine, but I just didn't think that the writing was there. Um, the and the tension between some crewmates didn't feel very genuine, and some of the characters' decisions in the later part of the film felt, I don't know, unearned. They raised some interesting questions, and they raised some really interesting ideas in this film that I love from most science fiction movies that do something like this. Like, I love in Interstellar, where they really lean into the theory of relativity and the idea that time isn't constant everywhere, and so you see him seeing his children get older and all that. Spoilers for Interstellar, and in this film they have a version of that where, again, spoilers, but one of our main characters, Hamilton, she lost her family, but in this alternate reality, her family's still alive. And so you've got this really interesting dilemma that she has, where she has to make a decision of whether she wants to stay or whether she wants to go. She wants to go and save her family. And I felt like they kind of wrote her a way out of that, where she got to send a message to kind of save her family. And it was a less selfish act than going down there herself. Anyway, I just felt like this movie could have been better if it didn't try to explain so much of the Cloverfield universe. If they were just lost in space trying to get back to Earth, maybe at the end you could have revealed that they were in an alternate dimension or something like that. But they just really heavy-handedly told us why the Cloverfield monsters and the aliens and everything else that goes crazy in this universe happens. And I didn't think it was very well done. I hope they keep making these, though, and I hope that they, can get back up to the quality. In my opinion, this doesn't quite come up to the quality of 10 Cloverfield Lane. I've seen a lot of people saying that it's better than the first. The first was very different and maybe not the best filmmaking, shaky cam and everything like that, but I enjoyed it for what it was. I think more than I did this, just because this was a kind of standard sci-fi film that disappointed me in how much it gave away. But anyway, guys, that was my really quick review of the Cloverfield Paradox, which is on Netflix now. Check it out for yourself. Let me know in the comments below what you think about it, what you thought about my thoughts. I'm really interested in generating a discussion on here, because I want to hear what you guys think, and I want to develop kind of an idea for what this channel is going to be. So thank you, and have a good Monday.